Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome back to another top 10 list. I thought I was done. I guess I'm not. I got a couple more ideas. Eureka moments when I was doing the Wandering Monster list last week, and I thought, you know what? I give out a lot of magic items. I love giving out magic items, so much so that I give out magic items to players and characters that aren't even in my games every Christmas Eve or the Christmas Eve or whatever, just because I think it's hysterical and I like stirring up shit and I like giving out magic items. So this is my list of the top 10 magic items I love to give out, with 2 honorable mentions, and one isn't really a magic item because it's a treasure map. And mind you, just for the record, all of these are as per the Dungeon Master's Guide or the Unearthed Arcana. I'm not pulling out any Arduin stuff. Go buy the Arduin books. Make up your own list of favorite Arduin stuff, because most people wouldn't even know what they are by name. Those Arduin guys, you know, if I say the Ring of Ruthlessness, or Gauntlets of the Fencing Master, or the Helm of War, you know what I'm talking about. Those are just out of control, insanely powerful magic items. But the treasure map is in the DMG. When it says magic items, you roll on a chart before you actually get to the magic items. There's a good chance that it's actually just a treasure map that leads to possibly more magic items, or possibly just, you know, a bunch of bags of copper pieces. But you take your chances, and it's a great way to start a new adventure, because, you know, there's another quest waiting to be, you know, experienced. The next honorable mention is the Scroll of Protection from Magic. It's just, you know, it's a one-use thing. Protects the reader and a small area around the reader. Could be the entire party. For a little while, magic is going to be, you know, not kicking their ass so much. And then sometimes it could be the difference between life and death, from a simple one-time use thing, sort of a blessing, if you will, or just, you know, one of those shield defensive kind of things that any player can pull out and read, and, you know, for the next 10 minutes or so, maybe an hour, if you get lucky, you are protected. Coming in at number 10 is the Potion of Youth or Longevity. A resource that's so overlooked, because most players and GMs don't care, because the game's not going to last long enough for it to matter how old your character is or how old they might be. But in the long game, when you get the opportunity to play a wizard or a fighter or somebody like that starts feeling their years, you can drink one of these and it will take off, I think, between 1 to 6 and 1 to 12 years of your physical age. It doesn't diminish your brain and your memories, but it can keep you from going into that category where you're going to start to lose stat points, and you can keep your youth and your looks and your vigor, and you could also keep your character, you know, adventuring that much longer. Coming in at number 9, similar to the treasure map, but it is the Potion of Treasure Finding. When you know there's something around and you just can't find it, you can't find the secret door, you can't find the treasure chest that's hidden, you drink the potion and it will point you in the direction of the largest source of coins and treasure. Just a mini adventure waiting, especially like if you take it in a town, or you just happen to take it somewhere you think there might be some treasure. It's kind of a neat thing, kind of overlooked. I like to you know, hand them out. I like to get them as well. Coming in at number 8, something that didn't appear until the Unearthed Arcana. Maybe it was in a module or something prior to that, or a Dragon magazine. But the Girdle of Many Pouches, with its, you know, it's basically a utility belt of holding. Who are we kidding? But it's got all those pockets, like 20 or 36 pockets, each holding like 10 pounds of whatever. That, you know, may not sound like a lot of treasure, But if all you're carrying is gems and you're the only one who can find them, so a thief can't pickpocket you and get anything out of it, or you've got, 15 different pouches of different gear. I don't know about you, any of you have ever worn a tool belt, or a web belt. Carrying a lot of gear, could be, aggravating, but at the same time, life changing, life saving, and being able to, carry a whole bunch of gear, whether it's magical or not, for me is just an absolute, godsend. I'd be happy if it, in some cases, if it was the only magic item I had, because every single pocket would be full of cool ass tools and gadgets. So moving on to number 7, something that I thought was another game changer was the amulet versus undead. It basically does one thing, and that's turn undead at a specific level, like 4th or 7th level, maybe even higher, depending on what you roll on the chart. But given to any character who is not a cleric, like a druid, oh my goodness. Suddenly you got the best of both worlds. You pull that out and, turn the vampires and the other undead like a cleric. Just absolutely a marvelous magic item, and anybody who gets one should thank their lucky stars that they now have one of the most powerful abilities in Dungeons & Dragons, as far as I'm concerned. Coming in at number 6, one of the most powerful, overpowered, crazy magic items, in my opinion, is the Mirror of Mental Prowess. It acts like a crystal ball. It acts as a magical doorway, and it also allows the owner, once they've set up like their wizard tower or domicile, their inner sanctum, they can mirror on the wall, ask a yes or no question once a day, that over the course of years of ownership can actually really, you play your 20 questions or what have you, looking for items or things or just needing sagely advice that will not lie to you. Is really powerful. And the ability to scry a location and then walk through the mirror or send people through the mirror, very, very powerful. Number 5 is kind of my screw you magic user magic item, the old ring of spell turning. You put that on a bad guy and suddenly half the party that comes against him is just... And then when they finally defeat the guy, because the fighter lops off his head or something, and they get that ring, turnabout being fair play and all that, and good for the goose. It's a lot of fun, especially when you forget that you handed it out, and one player's being a smartass or something, and you hit him with the freaking lightning bolt from on high or wherever, and they get to roll the percent to see how much of that goes back at, whatever NPC launched it. It's a lot of fun. Definitely great for a lot of laughs. Coming in at number 4, an item that just does not get enough love, although last weekend I hear it got some love because some folks got to run through Tomb of Horrors. I don't know how far they made it and if they've made it to the Sphere of Annihilation, but nothing says raw, unmitigated power like a magic user or a lich with a Sphere of Annihilation just hovering off to the side, just waiting for its, master to command it to just annihilate whatever it touches. Moving on to number 3, I put 2 things here because I couldn't really decide between which one I liked more. That being the Rod of Passage, which is the ultimate transportation device. It's got all the transport spells in it, and you get to use a whole bunch of them. For the price of one charge, is really, really, really powerful and really, really helpful when you, as the DM, have no problems letting your players move around the world and the universe, etc., and not trying to, keep them stuck in the dungeon. They want to leave, go for it. Where you want to go, or the Wand of Conjuration with its ability to use depending on how many charges you want to use, almost all of the monster summoning spells. You need help, you just use that thing and boom. And it's got another ability, I forget exactly what it was, like a wall of darkness, or sort of like an impenetrable wall of force kind of thing. But just being able to randomly summon up creatures can often, be all it takes to solve a problem. So it's definitely one of my favorites, just because of the fun nature of what you might summon through using the monster summoning spells. Coming in at number 2 is one of my all-time favorite magic items, and it's not really all that powerful, but there's just something about it that just similar to the Rod of Passage, but on a much lesser scale. But it's also a more accessible item. You don't feel bad about, like, you never worry that it's too overpowered when you hand it out to a party or a player character. It's the good old-fashioned boat of folding. I've got a Chinese puzzle box. It's about this big, and I look at it like that. It's about that size, so you could easily carry it in a vest pocket if you had to, or a belt pouch. And you need a rowboat, you need to get across the river, there you go. The boat you're on starts sinking, or you need to get to the island and you don't want anybody to know you're going to the island. You turn it into the little bit larger boat that's perfectly sized for an adventuring party to do that 3-hour tour thing. I just love it. It's a fun little magic item that it only serves a couple of purposes, and it really says magic. This is just a little shoebox that turns into a boat. You may think, it's not that big a deal, but it is when you think of it as a transportation device to not just the next adventure, the sort of, you need this to get to there kind of thing, but you can use this to go kind of wherever you want within reason. And finally, at number 1, the greatest magic item of all time, I think, because nothing says you have arrived. You have played the game to the absolute best of your ability, and the hardest way possible, and that you have proven to everyone that you are in fact an absolute master of the game, and that is the Holy Sword. When a paladin finally earns that, finally goes through all the things that the GM has put before him or her, and they finally get to that moment, that King Arthur moment, where they pull the sword from the stone, or they find the sword in the dragon's hoard, or wherever it might be, unless it's just handed over, in which case you've just absolutely diminished the entire idea. You have lost the entire notion of what it means to be a paladin, what it means to be a hero, to what it means to be, blessed by your God. You've earned the only thing that you've ever needed, you've ever, in the way of a material possession, of course, to do your God's will and to be the ultimate big damn hero, the best of the best of the best, sir. The Holy Sword. That's my number 1. And only once, twice, I think 3 times, maybe 4, have I ever found one as a player. One was actually given to me, and it was kind of a letdown. Sorry, but it really was. I felt no no attachment, no reward in receiving it that way. I did not feel like I had earned it. I would have gone, to hell and back to get it, and to prove, being worthy to get one. But that's what I've got for you guys this morning. I will be back in about 45 minutes with the second breakfast show. I'd love to hear what your top 10 favorite magic items are to hand out to your players. Not the ones that you want to own, but, that you like giving out to players. To move your game along and to reward your players and to show your players, what magic and adventure and excitement and all these things are really all about when, you have these extra tools to get the job done. Have a great day. Love you guys. See you real soon.